Welcome, everyone, once again to the Passion Interviews with the LuAnn Academy graduates. Very happy to be with you today and have our special guest. Before we get into her amazingness, let me just tell you a little bit about the LuAnn Academy if you haven't heard before. The LuAnn Academy was founded by Denise Lin. Denise Lin is, some say, the best kept secret in America because of her amazing ability and knowledge and insight to connect people with their own authenticity. She has written over 20 books. They've been translated in over 29 languages, all on various topics around Feng Shui, space clearing, soul coaching, dream interpretation, clutter clearing, etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on. But you can get a sense for the type of work that she has done and she has passed on to her community, the LuAnn Academy. So if you want to learn more about the LuAnn Academy, you can go to luannacademy.com. Of course, deniselin.com is another place to go. But I am your host, feeling very grateful to be able to do that. My name is Bill Schwingle. I am a graduate of the LuAnn Academy, and I have a few different certifications, and I've been doing work with the LuAnn Academy for many years. And I just feel that this is an opportunity for us in the LuAnn Academy to share our passions and hopefully inspire you to do that as well. So with that said, I would like to share a little bit about LuAnn Cibik, who is our guest today. She is an inspiration. You can talk to any of her students about the work that she does to train them in Feng Shui and space clearing, forest therapy, and several other aspects of the kind of spiritual and energy work that she does. Not only has she been a part of the LuAnn Academy for years, really helping to be that backbone of the overall kind of organization. One of those people, and I'm fortunate to work with her on this, one of the people who helps to make sure that all the programs are running smoothly and that the people who are graduates really are served to their best. Really, is what it's about. And so a little bit about LuAnn, aside from being a critical component and partner and just person, a part of all of this, her list of certifications, I mentioned Instinctive Feng Shui and Space Clearing. So that's the Interior Alignment Certification Program. Soul Coaching, she is an advanced trainer. She does online training for that as well. She's been a part of the Elemental Space Clearing community and support and mentor for that as well. Master Oracle Card Reader, Past Life Coach, Red Lotus Practitioner, Ultimate Journey Clutter Coach, and Gateway Dreaming Practitioners. That just gives you a little list of her credentials, but it doesn't tell you about LuAnn. I would just say that it's hard to put into words the energy that LuAnn brings every time she enters a space. She's always so open-hearted. She's always so compassionate. And there's this brilliance that comes from her that just kind of, there's an ease about it. And so I'm looking forward to her sharing with us today her topic on Feng Shui and crystals and how you can combine the two to really make positive, powerful changes in your life. So LuAnn, thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you, Bill. My goodness, that introduction, I've got tears in my eyes. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about how you first got involved or, met Denise or part of the LuAnn Academy. Where did your journey begin as a part of the LuAnn Academy?
My journey begins, I guess, back when I was a kid. I'm not going to give you the long story, but I was always fascinated by things in nature.
Hmm.
I was always fascinated by homes, and you could call it interior design, but not so much what trends were, but how houses were organized, how the layout of houses, how it felt to go into different houses. Even as a kid, when I played Barbies, it wasn't as much about the Barbie as it was about creating a Barbie house. And so those were things I always loved. My grandfather was also somebody who loved nature, loved outdoors, and he loved rocks. Like he was always picking up rocks on the farm and he'd have a pile of interesting rocks. And I'm not saying he knew what they were, but he was always collecting them. And then my uncle moved to Arizona and ended up working in a copper mine. And he also had the love of rocks. And when I would go visit him in Arizona, his entire backyard was just piles of rocks. It would make me like get so giddy to go visit. Like I loved him, but it's like, oh, let's go look at the backyard and see what rocks you have. So rocks and crystals have always been a part of what I've loved. But I went into the corporate world and did my corporate job and just continued my little studies on these things on the side. And then one day I found a book by Denise Lin called Feng Shui for the Soul. And reading through it, it talked about all of these different things, both the mundane of the arrangement of a space to the magical, like oils and crystals and colors. And I was like, haha, I have found my thing I really want to do.
Mhm.
And so that was my introduction. I studied with Denise back in uh, 2002, which sounds like an incredibly long time ago. But Bill, it feels like just yesterday, doesn't it? Because Bill
It
was in
really
the
does.
class right after the class I was in. So
Mhm.
we missed training together by 1 week, but yeah, it doesn't seem like that long ago. But that was my beginning.
That's amazing. And I love how there are things in our childhood that just influence and kind of inspire us to do the things that we love.
Mhm.
So, for those people who may not be familiar with feng shui and how crystals might be incorporated, can you share a little bit about kind of what that is and how they can start to kind of better understand, hey, how is this something that I can use or do?
It's a great question. And I'm guessing people watching this have probably caught on to feng shui is the art of arranging your space to support your life. And there's a lot of different things we do with that, with color, with symbolism, but it kind of boils down to what the ancient Chinese called the five elements. And within those elements, and I like to call them the five ways chi moves, because each of these things make us feel a certain way. And so water makes us feel like being more in the flow, and wood energy makes us feel like getting up and doing something. And fire makes us feel like having a lot of fun, and metal makes us feel like focusing in and getting things done. But earth energy is one that allows us to feel safe and grounded and relaxed and restful. And actually, I think in the world right now, the way our world seems to be a bit chaotic,
Mhm.
earth energy is probably what we all might want to look at as having a little bit more of.
Mhm.
And so one of the reasons I wanted to talk about rocks and crystals is not just because I'm a bit of a geek about it, but also I think it could be really powerful for people to bring in that earthy energy. And there's lots of ways in feng shui. We could do it through color, we can do it through shape, we can do it through artwork, symbolism. But why not talk about just rocks and crystals?
Mhm. I love the topic too, so.
So, a lot of people I've noticed today, there's more and more rock shops popping up
Mm.
than I've ever seen before. And even in other places, like even in places like TJ Maxx, I've found some amazing rocks and crystals like selenite candles and salt lamps. And all of those, while they could be trendy in decor, they're also ways of bringing that earthy energy into our space.
Mhm.
In feng shui, there's different areas of what we call the Bagua and energy map that are supported by these different elements. But right now, I'm kind of feeling like if there's anything that we just want to add a little bit more of in any of our spaces, it would be looking at adding some crystals.
So,
So,
oh, sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No.
And I love that too. I love adding crystals. I'll just show you right here, right while we're on the show. This is a crystal that I have on my desk that I just love, right? It's a red carnelian and it's just a beautiful stone. But I do feel kind of the benefits of those. So when people are looking at crystals or stones, how do you recommend they pick the right one for them when they're thinking about feng shui?
Well, as a person who loves rocks and crystals, I will say go into the store and find the one that you feel like you can't live without. And that's
Mhm,
probably going to be the one. But that doesn't sound very scientific, does it?
mhm,
So I thought I'd talk about a few that could really be powerful that I talk to my clients about bringing into their home for just some basic, let's say, energy protection,
mhm,
energy amplification. Because rocks and crystals are so powerful right now, or popular, I'll call it, I also find that a lot of people already have some, but they might not be putting them in the optimal space. So I
mhm,
want to talk about that too.
mhm,
So uh, I feel like it's a great time to make our home our sanctuary. It always is, but right now, maybe even more so. And so part of being a sanctuary means that we want to protect our energy from maybe the energy that's from the outside. Protect might seem like a strong word, but let's just say we want to keep our stuff in and keep other stuff out,
mhm,
right? Because we want it to feel safe and secure in our space. So, one of the ways we can do that is with a very simple crystal that I can guarantee you don't have to go out and buy, and that's with salt.
mhm, mhm,
Working with just salt, and maybe not the iodized salt, but maybe just a nice, like a Himalayan salt that could be used for cooking or kosher salt. And you can put salt in little like organza bags or little muslin bags, or I've even had people just cut a square of cotton and put some salt in the middle of it and wrap it up like a little pouch with a little ribbon. And putting that salt in the four corners of every room or even the four corners of your house on the inside is going to create, when done with intention, going to create like a little boundary, a little fortress for you. And it's going to help keep the energy clear within the space too. Now, salt will keep it clear by pulling in all the stuff that you don't like. So every now and again, when you run the sweeper or dust, you want to gather up your little bags. You want to dump the salt in the toilet, put some fresh salt in there and put things back. So it just keeps the energy fresh and clear.
mhm,
Another thing that I recommend is one you might have to go buy, and that's called black tourmaline.
mhm, mhm,
And it's a black stone, might look like a lump of coal, but it's not. It's got little like striations on it. It has a little bit of a sheen to it.
mhm,
And black tourmaline is like a bodyguard.
mhm,
And so I have people put little chunks of that on either side of their front door, either outside the front door or inside the front door. And it just kind of means that if anything that's not for your best or highest good isn't coming in.
mhm,
So those are some ways to kind of cleanse and clear just to start with. Um, Another stone that a lot of people buy is quartz crystals, and this is one probably is hard to see on Zoom. It's got a lot of different points. It's a little bit of a druzy texture. Drusies when the points are little tiny.
mhm,
And what a quartz crystal will do is it will amplify energy, which can be great, except if you amplify the wrong thing, right? So you don't want to amplify things that have a lower or denser energy to them. So you could use your black tourmaline
mhm,
and you can make him stronger by putting a quartz crystal next to him, and it will ramp up the energy. I also, because I work a lot over the internet, I keep my black tourmaline and my little quartz crystal right here in front of my computer screen. And it doesn't mean that the people I work with have anything negative. It just means that I'm keeping my space cleansed and cleared and protected and as well for them. So for those who work a lot on their computers, do Zoom meetings, having that sit right at your computer is another place you could use those two crystals. I also know there's a lot of people who love quartz crystals and they're gorgeous, right? And say that, oh yeah, I got this beautiful quartz cluster and I put it next to my bed.
mhm,
Well, that would not be my optimal place for you to put a quartz crystal.
mhm,
And the reason why is it's an energy amplifier. So if you have one and it's next to your bed and you're not sleeping well at night, I'm going to suggest that quartz crystal find another place in your home
mhm,
because it could be just broadcasting too much energy at that time.
Mhm. Is there a stone you'd recommend for the bedroom?
I would recommend selenite, which looks
Mm-hmm.
kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one, should have moved it closer before we started talking.
No
I
worries.
have one right here. It's a heart.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to look like a heart. A lot of times, ooh, ooh, it jumped. A lot of times there'll just be like a bar of selenite. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see, it has little kind of like striations in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and selenite is kind of magical in the sense that it has broadcasts at a really high vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will call it an angelic vibration. Things that are a lower, denser energy don't want to be around it. So, in a sense, it also clears a space, but unlike salt, it will not absorb anything. So, you can have your selenite and never have to really worry about clearing it because it's clearing the space. You can also use your selenite to clear, let's say your black tourmaline,
Mm-hmm.
it might collect some energy on it. You don't want to flush them down the toilet, but if you let him hang out with your selenite
Mm-hmm.
for about 20 minutes, he will be all cleared and your selenite is just singing its song that it likes to sing.
Oh, I love that. And I love the feeling of selenite. It really is kind of such a nice, I don't know, smooth balancing. My words aren't quite coming to me, but it's a beautiful, beautiful energy.
It is a
So you,
beautiful energy.
yeah, and so you've talked about clearing. You've talked about the salt that needs to be replaced and how you can
Mhm.
clear it with another stone. Are there other ways you'd recommend people clear their crystals?
Yeah, and I hear a lot of people talking about clearing and also about charging.
Mm.
And sometimes people will use the term interchangeably, and
Hmm.
they're not exactly interchangeable.
Hmm.
So, clearing a crystal means that any energy or thought energy or emotional energy that it's picked up, because they're sensitive to us. Whether we know it or not, they are listening and tuned into us all the time.
Mm.
And so just having them sit in your living room or sit in your bedroom, they could pick up on when you've had a bad day. They can also pick up when you've had a good day. But
Mm.
the problem is if they hang on to the stuff that's a negative.
Hmm.
And so that's what we want to clear from our stones. Don't want them hanging on to that. And so one way to clear a lot of them is maybe run them under some cold running water. But
Mm.
the problem is not all of them like water. If you took your selenite, which you don't need to clear, but selenite's a stone that is water dissolvable. Also, like if you took a Himalayan salt lamp, you don't want to run it underwater because salt is dissolvable, right? So water can work for some things, but it might not be the best go-to. I've also had people say, "Oh, well, I put my stones in a little bath of like I put salt on a tray and put
Mm.
my stones on it to clear it." Again, it can clear it, but salt can be interactive with things. It's what cause rust on metals.
Mm.
So it could actually kind of change or might damage your stone. So we like to look for things that will clear our stone friends without having them have any damage. And I think one of the best ways that we can do it, and I'm going to tell you two. One is every month when we have a full moon,
Mm.
you can take your stones outside under the full moon, and that moonlight clears them. It can also be cleared by sunlight, but some are light sensitive and it could change the color. So moonlight is gentle enough, and stones came out of the earth.
Mm.
They don't maybe like bright light all the time.
Mhm.
So doing it at night in the dark can cleanse them, and it can also charge them. Charge them is when they just got tired, right? Like
Mm.
when your cell phone is on like 2%, you have to plug it in and charge it. So the same way with our stones, we need that opportunity to charge them. Even if you might think they haven't been around anything negative, I don't need to clear it, but they might need to be charged. So charging happens very well on in the moonlight. Another way to charge a stone would be to dig up in your yard and put it back in the earth for a little bit. And I have done this, and I have gone back the next day, and my stone is gone. So I
Oh.
have to sometimes think, maybe it was done doing its work with me.
Mhm.
Maybe the crow watched me bury it and took
Sure.
it. You just never know.
Mhm.
So it's something to be aware of. We don't think stones have feet, but sometimes they disappear. So
They do roll, though. They do roll.
they do roll.
Yeah.
Another way that we can cleanse and clear, though, if you're somebody who works with energy, is that you could use your own chi. If you've been Reiki trained, and even if you haven't, you could rub your hands together. You could think about joy, happiness, rainbow light, bring that down into your hands, and then just hold your stone in your hands and just send them thanks and gratitude and rainbow light.
Mhm.
That works really well for parts of the house that some people don't think about when they think about rocks and crystals.
Mhm.
And that's people who might have granite countertops or quartzite countertops, or they might have other objects in their house that are too big to drag out into the moonlight or
Mhm.
run underwater, like a marble top coffee table,
Mhm.
right? So if you use your own energy, fill it with love and light and gratitude, and put your hands on it and just send that into your kitchen countertop, send that into your bathroom countertop, send that into the coffee tabletop,
Mhm.
right? Then that is a way that those sometimes forgotten rocks and crystals can be cleared and charged as well.
Mhm. So we've talked about kind of a couple of different placements for the stones, and a little bit about kind of feng shui being kind of what it is and kind of adjusting our environment. Can you talk a little bit about maybe dedicate, like how you might dedicate a crystal to an aspect of a home or a part of a home that would support, say, relationships or career, or, because I know that for those who are not familiar with feng shui, there is a map that you can apply in your home that covers off on 9 different aspects of your life. And really, what it speaks to is in our home, we can influence those aspects thanks to that map because we know where that is. And I would think crystals would be a perfect kind of coupling for that map. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
Do. And there's some areas that most people want more of that are on that map. And so let's talk about a couple of those. One is abundance. Pretty much everybody is like, yes, I would like more abundance.
Hmm.
And the abundance, when you look in your home, is the back left corner. And a stone that could be really appropriate to call in abundance is amethyst. And amethyst looks kind of like a quartz crystal. I have a little chunk of amethyst here with its little points. And it's purple, but it's got those little points. It's related to the clear quartz. It's in that same family. And so amethyst is appropriate because of its purple color and because um, it holds energies around tapping into your own inner wisdom and kind of the words that came into my mind. I don't know if I didn't read this in any book. Being an adult, right? Making good choices.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that resonates with abundance because it truly is about, making those good choices, honoring what you have, growing what you have. So, amethyst could be great in that abundance area. I don't know, Bill, you're a feng shui master and teacher as well. What stone do you think of for the abundance area?
I think of amethyst and citrine. Those are the two that
Citrine.
are my
Mhm.
go-to. I love citrine. It is such a joyful stone, but also it does help to, yeah, there you go. So I love it when we're able to use that. I actually have small tumbled citrine in different
Mhm.
places in my home in the abundance area to just reinforce that. And not only is it about abundance, but it's also about joy. And who doesn't want more of both?
More of both. And it's another winner like selenite in that it never needs to be cleared. And
Mm-hmm.
so you don't have to worry about that kind of clearing maintenance with them. So
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Yeah.
Another area we'll talk about just real quick is relationship. Tends to be the second favorite thing of people wanting to make better using feng shui.
Mm-hmm.
And a stone that gets associated with that is rose quartz. And rose quartz, it can have little points on it. This is a polished one, and it's pink. And so when we use rose quartz in our love and relationship area, which is the back right corner of the home, then sometimes we get them in little hearts. Sometimes we might, because we're looking for relationship, we might want two little heart stones, right? And put them next to each other. So that's another way we can bring in that crystals. And rose quartz sings a song of not just love, but kind of a nurturing love,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of loving yourself so that others can love you kind of energy.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that when you said sings a song, right? Because we don't often think of crystals as being that having a vibration, but they do, right? And it's just amazing when you start to connect with and align with their songs, because then your song shifts too, which is, I think, amazing.
hmm It's probably why I'm so passionate about not just crystals in the home, but wearing crystals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there are days where you need some extra oomph for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So having crystals that are not just decorative sitting, but could be pocket rocks, right? That you put in your pocket to take with you on a day where you might not be feeling super joyful. You have your citrine that you carry in your pocket, right? So there's a lot of reasons to go buy rocks, let me just say.
These are the ones that I have in my pocket at the moment.
Yes.
I'm a big believer in that as well.
Mhm.
So the time has been going by quite quickly. So I wanted to make sure that, for those people who want to learn more from you, or really want to understand feng shui better and crystals better, what's a really good way for people to reach out to you?
So you can go to my website, luanncivic.com, or you can go to innerharmonyschool.com, all words run together. And you can see the different classes and see the different options and also see how you could work with me one-on-one. Um, and I'm also on Facebook a lot, so I would love if you'd come be my friend on Facebook or follow my Inner Harmony with LuAnn Cibik
Mhm.
Facebook page. And I'm on Instagram too, so you can find me there. It's called Inner Harmony for You. So those are different ways you can connect with me.
That's beautiful. So a couple things I wanted to add. One is LuAnn has an amazing community with her Inner Harmony grads. That is really just for anyone who does work with her, who's taught by her, gets certified by her. They have an opportunity to just connect regularly to talk about all of these things that we love to talk about, and just get the support that she's so good at providing. And I also wanted to make sure, I didn't know if you had any classes coming up, LuAnn, any certifications or any online courses you wanted to share?
I do. I have a class, a workshop, a fun, I won't call it work because it's play, a play shop coming in July, and it's called Dress Your Chi,
Hmm.
the mystical feng shui energy of clothing. And so it's looking at all of the things we look at in a home, the colors, the shape, the textures, the symbolism, but how you can wear it. So for people who don't have the opportunity to make changes where they're living, you can still have the support that feng shui provides through what you wear. And it also helps, especially whenever you have shifted a role in life. Maybe you're an empty nester now, or maybe you just had your first baby, or maybe you're retiring, but your life is changing in some way. And it's important to look at what you wear and make sure that reflects who you are going forward, not who you were in the past.
Hmm.
And then I also have an instinctive feng shui um, certification program starting in August, and it's an all online, but it's live classes. So it's not a self-study, it is live online classes every week for 8 weeks, and then you do your client. Um, I
Practical?
forget the word. Yeah, practicum. That's it.
Mhm.
Yes. Thanks, Bill.
Mhm.
And then we get together for a celebration and graduation. So that's coming up.
Beautiful. Great. Well, thank you so much, Luann. It's been a pleasure, as always, to speak with you and to hear from you your passion, your kind of inspiration, and just the knowledge you can bring. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Bill, for today and also for being the host of these passion videos that really highlight our amazing grads.
Oh,
You're awesome.
my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.